Um, yeah. So basically, in digital transformations, we get involved with CRM or any other cloud services. It can be commerce, DevOps, middleware, big data, all the stuff over here we usually get involved with. And these are our technology partners for us over here. Some of our major customers. What do we do in Salesforce basic? So we get involved with understanding the business, trying to transform them into there are some businesses who are currently not digitally sound. They want to move on the digital platforms. Some folks might be already digitally available, but they've not implemented it well. We get involved in all those situations, and first is understand the business and then try. It's not necessary that always technology might be a solution for every problem. We might end up saying, hey, the technology you're using is right. Might be you need to do some maneuver in your business process itself. So in that over sense, that's where we stand in terms of Salesforce. These are the skill sets we basically have. We do testing, we have UI designers, we have business analysts, we have CRM folks, we have architects, we have functional consultants who would come and look into the system and say if there's any process improvement needed and all those stuffs. Plus we have project managers and account managers. So in terms of Salesforce, we're covering sales, service, then marketing and commerce. And what we're trying to do over here is, there are a lot many applications. It's not necessary, you might go with commerce with SAP. So, but what's important for over here, having them all connected to your CRM system. You might have a different service application, not necessarily Salesforce, but how do we work with an integrated system? And yeah, in terms of applications, basically we are well versed with MuleSoft, Delboomi, and in certain situations we have a use case where we've made use of Salesforce default functionality of an OData connectors. So, uh, so yeah, as for today's session, how do we basically drive our revenue? So unlike the previous era where we could advertise through newspapers or it can be flyers or sometimes even radio advertisements or billboards. Right now, that alone is not sufficient. So what people are expecting, the customers, it can be a B2B customer or it can also be a B2C customer. What they're currently expecting is they're expecting the companies to engage with them. They're expecting companies to engage with them in a manner that's relevant to them. So now, with having said this, the major problem that every organization comes across is, off lately, storage is not a concern for anybody. It's become cheaper. So everyone has got data. But what are they doing with that? There are very few folks who are doing something out of it. So now, with data, with right analysis, that's if you try to approach a customer, that's a win-win for us, and that's where we actually generate our revenue. That's one way. The other way is, sometimes you need to do a cleanup within yourself. That would also save some money. Like we have support services going on. Sometimes we have a lot of unnecessary stuffs for which our support team is getting engaged. If we can avoid that stuff, that again increases our revenue over here. So what we're trying to say is, every organization need to be digitally connected. So it's not necessary that, for that we have to buy everything, every product of Salesforce. You might end up having, like I said, there's a lot of folks who have applications of Commerce Cloud from SAP as well, and some have some other Oracle as well. So it doesn't matter. But in all these aspects, if an organization is digitally connected, like you have marketing, you have sales, you have service, you have your commerce, plus you have your analytics. So all these things, if you have it integrated, so you've got all your data points, and then there kicks in your, the analytics where it can basically make use of all the available data, and it can run its own AI intelligence, and then it can, improve the business. It can suggest what to be done next. Saying that is easy, but connecting all the digital stuff it's really problematic, because sometimes you're not clear on the footprint, sometimes you're not sure how that can be done, or sometimes it's just ignorant. So over here, what we're trying to say is we definitely can help your organization out where, we can understand the whole IT footprint, and then we say, okay, what all system needs to be connected in a sense of, which will help you drive your business further in a better manner. Now, like I said, initially, like those days were gone where, we just end up putting some flyers on the newspapers or some billboards, and, people used to understand it was a very good advertising mechanism and it used to work. Right now, it's not what works for us because everybody is online. Somebody is on Insta, somebody is on LinkedIn, one or the other, somebody is on Facebook, one or the other platform. And now we really need to reach out to them in a manner that they can realize, they can understand, and it's meaningful for them. So that's where we're trying to say, personalize the way you reach out to the customers. Then with that, you can, how can you do that with the help of AI? And, with that, you deliver something where the customer starts trusting you, where they say, "Oh, this company knows what I really need, what I want." They're just not trying to sell me anything and everything that they have. Okay. So basically, what we're trying to say here is when we go human centric, when we are going personalized with respect to each and every person that we're targeting, what we're trying to do is we are connecting them to our business. We are also saying that, when we connect multiple systems, we are accelerating or improving the way our service agents are performing. And along with that, now, for some of the companies, it just doesn't end with sales. Sometimes they have to go a step ahead where they have service as well involved, right? So what we're saying is we also consider service into the consideration. So with that, you will be able to understand based on your product how your product is performing in terms of sales, and then alongside that you can also compare it. Product is performing well, but still if you see a huge demand in terms of services for that product, where product is turning out to be faulty, so that's when you understand way before in time that there's something that needs to be corrected in that particular product, or else there's going to be a competitor who's going to take over that. Okay. So connecting digitally. So exactly what do we mean when we say connecting digitally? So let's take this map as an example and just traverse through different parts over here. So starting with, for every organization, we start with sales. So there are a lot of situations where that's where the campaign comes into the picture. Every company would be creating some campaigns, and they would be running those campaigns. Campaign can be a webinar, or it can be even email, or it can be something on a website or an advertisement on Facebook, something of that sort. So the point is, campaign is going to cost the organization a lot. So every organization is clearly interested in understanding how each of the campaign is performing. Now, to be able to do that, that's where we say, we need to connect all the systems together. So I have a marketing system which is working in silo. I have a commerce system that's working in silo, and I have a CRM system again working in silo. So I have no means to figure out how my campaign performed. Now, with this connected system, what we're trying to say is if all the systems are connected, now over the period of time with AI in picture, we'll be able to understand that okay, we've first part is we've run a campaign, and from that campaign on a commerce platform we've received xyz amount of orders, and with that we can calculate based on the dollar value and the revenue how did it do. That's one point. But over the period of time, imagine that you're running multiple campaigns over the period of time, over the period of let's say 6 7 months. Now post that is where or by that time itself AI would come into picture, and it will try to help you to improvise your campaign to revenue ratio. So what the AI will at that point of time try to do is basically something like this. Like, let's say there was a campaign where you included a lot of potential customers. You sent out email. That campaign also included that there's going to be an email campaign, email plus something on Facebook, something on Instagram, something on LinkedIn, then some stuffs on some websites and all that. Now, if you calculate, an advertisement on Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook is definitely expensive than an email campaign. So by the end of this campaign, like eventually AI would predict it and give you an information saying, for this customer, there's no point in including him on a Facebook advertisement. or Insta advertisement. He is way responsive over just an email campaign. So don't spend your money over there. So that's how it's like money saved is money earned, right? So that's where, if those systems were ever connected, so that's where, we can actually say and make more sense out of it. Now, in the similar manner, like you see over there, web traffic. So there are certain campaigns where we include some URLs to the, some page that we have built where you want to give some information about the product and all that. So based on the traffic that website is driving, we can also just think upon, what to be done next. So those decisions, if we ask somebody to manually look into those traffics and then take a decision, it's a tedious task, and not necessary that every person who's got that job will always come out with the same result. Whereas with the connected systems, every time you're guaranteed that you're going to have the same results coming out. So now over here, this is where the segmentation, that's where, I said, where it says, hey, this contact is better on an email campaign than on some social media campaign. This XYZ contact is better on a social media contact. And in that also Instagram, because he responds better over there. So that's based on that, or based on many multiple other stuffs, we can do segmentation. Like for example, Salesforce has got a product called as Social Studio. So that's basically used for social listening. I'll show you that screen, how it functions. So basically over there, what happens is, let's say that you've posted some campaigns online, and basically that tool listens to how people are reacting to that. Basically, it can be possible that, somebody has clicked on like, somebody has shared it, or somebody has even commented it. So all that data, the system understands, analyzes it, and post it gives you a sentimental analysis of how that campaign is running. Now, with that data connected to our CRM, we can build a customer profile. And with that, you'll be able to serve the customer way better than before. Okay. So now how does connecting e-commerce to your CRM helps? A simple example for that is, again, let's go from the path of campaign. You've run a campaign, somebody is going to place an order, they go to your commerce platform, they place an order. When that data is received back into Salesforce or in the sales application, we can connect that, okay, this order was placed because of a campaign run. Now, with that, we'll be able to generate the determine what was the revenue that got generated because of a certain campaign. Now, there are certain situations where, let's say that there were, as a test case, there were 10 customers, potential customers for which you have been sending out a lot of marketing campaigns on different products. Some people have responded for a particular, some for something else. Now it's quite, I would say it's quite complicated or quite difficult to remember who responded to what. It's not necessary he is going to be there for lifetime. Whereas, based on that response and based on whether they've placed an order or not, system is capable of understanding that this customer is way too interested in a particular product family alone from what you've got. So based on that, you can again run your marketing stuff. Then another instance is like from e-commerce. So as of today, every application has got the capability of sending out emails uh, in a well formatted, well structured manner. That's not a challenging part. The challenging part right now is, let's say that you a customer gets to the customer service and says, hey, I've received such an email from your company. Now, the challenging part is, if you have multiple systems, it's tough for a customer service representative to figure out which system sent that out. So now let's consider your e-commerce is connected to Salesforce, and Salesforce is internally connected to Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So any interaction, any transaction, or for any reason, e-commerce want to send out an email to a customer, it goes through Salesforce to the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So with that, what happens is, the moment a customer calls, the customer service rep can just go and check the customer account and see that what email was sent. No matter which application is trying to send an email, it's always through one channel. So it's always logged in Salesforce. So it helps the customer service rep to even respond in a better manner to the customer. And along with that, the resolution time is faster. So yeah. So over here, what we're trying to say is, Almost all of the organizations have got a portal where customers can log in, and they can they can have a lot of self service done. They can be placing an order or creating a service request, whatnot. So now, how are the folks able to serve better, and why they are able to say that self service is better having than not having? Reason for that being is, now see, first is they've got their system connected. Now, let's say a customer is placing an order. For him, it's just a portal. He's not concerned about whether it's an SAP Hybris or it's a Salesforce portal. They're not concerned. For them, it's just a portal. They placed an order. In per se of the organization, the order got placed in your commerce application. Now, the order can get fulfilled. Might be you use some other system to fulfill that order. Now, then to ship it, another application to ship that order. But what customer is expecting on this in this portal, he'll be able to see that particular order and he'll be able to track what's happening with that order, whether it's in fulfillment or whether it's in shipment or whatever the stage is. He's expected to track it from one system. So again, over here, the reason why we are able to build self-service so seamlessly and make it look better and help the business is because all the systems are connected and the data flows across. So because of that alone reason, we are able to help the customers in a better manner. Now, let's say there's a simple example over here. We've got a chatbot over here. Might be with the information that available in the self-service portal, customer is not satisfied or happy. There's an chatbot which is an Einstein chatbot, basically where he can type in his concerns, and initially we would configure it in a way that it should answer some basic questions. Over the period of time, it automatically self learns, it improves, and then it will start. Even if there's something new coming at it, it will be able to answer it based on the past history of what data it received. Okay, like I said, the whole process for an organization doesn't just stop after a sale is made. It traverses further, and for some it is just a simple service. For some it might end up being field service, where you want your executives to walk into end customer location, might be to fix something, and so on and so forth. Salesforce comes with field service lightning, where again, for that to function well and help the organization, every system has to be connected. So let's take an example over here. Like, there's a field service agent visiting an end customer where, let's say, they say that the blender is broken. Now, the executive has reached the customer location, looked at the blender, and he figures out that, okay, I would need a part to fix it. So he need not just tell the customer that, hey, I need a part, I'll get that part and come someday and fix it. No, he can open his phone or a tablet that he's carrying, log into the system and see if that part is available. If not, he'll be able to see when would it be available, and he can precisely give a date, definitive date to the customer, saying, hey, I'll be back around this date to get it fixed because the part is not available currently, instead of keeping the customer in completely darkness of having no clue when he's going to ever be back. Now, having said this, another problem that the field service agents usually face is, for a lot of customers, the places they visit, they actually don't have internet connectivity. Salesforce Field Service Lightning app that's installed on their phone can function even without the internet. So all it requires is, once a day they just log into the system in that to that app when there's an internet, just browse around for a minute or two, and that's it. After that, the whole day, even if they don't have an internet, they get all the required data. Plus, along with this, now, how does this again help the organization? There are a lot of organizations where the sales reps just don't sit in an office and try to find new customers. They end up doing a lot of visits to their customer location. They have a lot of meetings with the customers, and that's when they end up, making a actual sale. But now this whole engagement, it's reimbursable. The fuel is reimbursable for the sales reps. Now, the problem that happens is, let's say that a sales rep was supposed to visit 4 locations in one day, and it's up to him how does he map those 4 locations. He might go to A, then go to B, then go to D, then come back to C. It doesn't. It's entirely up to him. It's not necessary that it's the best path that he was supposed to take. So whereas Salesforce over here would help in generating the beat map automatically every day morning, and then it can be sent out to all the sales rep who are actually on the field for that particular day, and post that, you know, he has to just follow that beat map, the schedule. Now, there are some situations. Now, again, coming back to connected systems, why is it important here? Now, there are some situations that, let's say, the sales rep had just 2 customers to visit, and he was expecting to finish off. The sales was expected to finish that off by mid noon. So now, for the first customer he visited, the time that he took over there was way more than expected, and now the second customer he would be visiting post lunch. Now, when the systems are connected, Salesforce Field Service Lightning, it's got also a functionality with artificial intelligence in conjunction, is that it also analyzes the past data based on when the sales rep visited that particular customer on a particular time. How did it turn out to be? Did he get an order over there? Now, let's say that in the past, this sales rep has visited this customer numerous times, but every time that he's got an order is only when he visited in the morning, in the first half. Whereas when he reached there in the second half, for some reason or the other, he was never able to make a successful sale. So at that point of time, system will automatically alert him saying, skip the customer for today, we will reroute it for tomorrow. So now possibly might be, customer is busy, not attentive, or don't know the reason, but at least in the morning the chances of getting an order is more. Over an evening, if the system is able to analyze that, that's better to follow than just blindly go there, right? So on this ground of connected system, Royal Cyber, we have got at Royal Cyber we've got our own product called as RC InView, and basically this is a lighter and a smaller version of a Salesforce original product called as Salesforce Customer 360. So Salesforce Customer 360 basically what it does is, it analyzes all the data that's available from the connected systems, not to that extent, but from the systems which is within the Salesforce ecosystem. And then it would give you a lot of predictive analysis, it would give you a lot of forecastings and all those stuff. So now what we've done over here basically is we've bought it a notch lighter. Like what we have done is we've given an additional stuff where we're saying you can connect systems which are not Salesforce even. So not necessary that we have to build a whole heavy integration altogether to bring all the data from all the possible systems into Salesforce and then run the whole intelligence. We don't have to do that. So what we're trying to say is you have an ERP system, don't build a connection. We will still go there, fetch the data. We will go to your e-commerce site, get the data. We'll go to some other application that you've got. We'll get all those data and then run the intelligence. So this basically is like a framework that we have built, and not necessary that these are the only offerings we've got. If you feel that your organization would need some other KPIs to be considered than this, we definitely can do that. So now if you see here, what we're seeing is again forecasting, customer profiling, customer centric marketing strategies. This is again like what I said, like some customer responded better over an email campaign. Let's do an email campaign from him always. The moment somebody adds that customer to a social media campaign, we can there'll be an alert coming out saying, hey, this customer doesn't do good in a social media campaign and all that. Now product dashboard, that is feedback versus revenue. So that's what we are saying is, you've got a lot of products, couple of them are doing great, couple of them are not doing so great, but along with that, you need to also understand against every product what are the complaints that you're receiving, and then you compare it with your revenue and say how you're doing well. Because okay, we have made a good sale on those products, but if we are getting a huge volume of complaints, then eventually that sale is going to dry out. So before that happens, fix the product. So that analysis can be done way in advance. So again, sales rep dashboard performance. Basically, we're trying to understand how is our sales rep performing, how is his sales good, bad, and all those stuff. And again, same the service rep performance. Now, the other one over here we've got is GRC. So here in GRC, what we're trying to, so basically it's governance, risk, and compliance. Every organization goes through an IT audit of all those applications and who all have access to each of those applications. Some people do once a year, some every quarter, some once in half year. So problem over here is every time when an auditor walks in, that's when they, come in with a certain set of activities to be done. They reach out to every application owner. Application owners are busy in the auditing, and that's when they figure out that okay, there's some problem where they have given access to somebody whom they actually shouldn't have given. Now, here, what we're trying to say is this RC in view, we can have the dashboard built in a way that, in advance, it's already present. You don't have to contact somebody. You don't have to wait for the auditors to come and tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong in your system. So it's already present, intuitive, and you can take a decision immediately. So yeah, so like I was saying, customer profiling. So this is basically what we're saying is, this is a data that we have pulled out with conjunction of SAP and Salesforce. Okay, so now this is where closed last when this customer last did business with us and so on and so forth. So right now what we're considering is the order is not in Salesforce. So based on that, we are trying to understand this customer. Now here again, the kind of forecasting it's trying to say is how are we doing over here based on the business, based on the basically the product analysis that's happening over here. So this is where we say, service agent performance analysis. So this is basically where it says how much average time is the service agent taking to finish a close a case and all that, and what are your volumes by phone, web, and chat, all those analysis. So now, not necessarily now if you see here the phone one doesn't happen in Salesforce. It's some other system. You would have got Cisco, Genesis, Pure Cloud, something of that sort. So since that's connected to the Salesforce environment, Salesforce instance, we are basically able to understand the whole picture here. So now with this, we understand that the phone volume is high. Might be my cost to the organization for a phone level support executive is way higher. So we have to somehow find out a way to reduce that. Understand what kind of cases are coming in terms of on a phone call, and try to figure out how can we reduce that. So all this is possible because the system is connected. Yeah, so this is one of the work that we have done for one of our customer where they've got Oracle basically. Their ERP system is in Oracle, and they are basically archiving the data and all that. So now, sales team actually accesses Salesforce. Now the volume of order is huge. It's not just the difference between a B2B and a B2C. B2C, right? B2C you have huge volume, and B2B, you might have volume of orders as low, but the revenue value is different over there. So now here it's a B2C. So the volume of order is huge, but the sales rep wants to be able to understand the whole order data related some analysis in Salesforce. Now the problem over here is if we end up bringing the whole volume of order that got created into Salesforce, unnecessarily we are going to consume the memory storage in Salesforce. So this whole solution of ours using MuleSoft and using OData connector of Salesforce, we directly connected to Oracle, and we gave the data available in way in a Salesforce that they could run their reports and analysis. So, like I said, in the previous one of the slide, I showed that the phone call was volume was high. Now, let's say that the only reason, the 90% of the reason why a customer is calling an organization is to figure out what's his order status. That's the reason why he's calling, and he doesn't want to get into any other stuff. So this is one of the product that we have. We have even built it for a couple of our customers. So this is an Einstein Chatbot. So basically, what happens over here is, you know, uh, the customer can go onto the website, open the chat screen, and say, "Hey, I need to know the status of my order." So the bot will automatically try to ask few questions like, can I have your name, email address, phone number, which with you place the order, and then if you have an order number, great. So it'll get all those details. And now, like I said, since the system is connected, the chatbot is able to go reference. Let's say it's a commerce website where the order was placed. The chatbot is able to reference that order, see what's the status on that order, and then give it back to the customer. So if that satisfies the customer is like done for it. Now this saved your agent's time, so you didn't have to engage an agent to just respond to, you know, what's the status of my order? When are you going to ship it? Just to answer that, you didn't have to engage your agents. So for the customer whom we implemented this, it helped them a lot. It streamlined their process a lot, and they've saved a considerable amount just with this one where they streamlined their service activity. So yeah, Omega Engineering. This is one of our customer. So basically, one of our use case is from Omega itself, the chatbot. So over here, if you see, the footprint is something like this. They've got Salesforce Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Service Cloud. Now they've got SAP Hybris PIM. So that's where PIM is where they're managing their products and all that. And they've got SAP Hybris as their e-commerce platform. They have a homegrown pricing engine, and then they have ERP system, which is Sightline. And Boomi is the middleware which is connecting all these systems together. And then they've got the analytics on Microsoft. So what's happening over here is basically customer comes on to Omega Engineering's website, and they can place an order. So the placed order in Hybris is then sent across to the ERP system as well as to Salesforce. Now, in Salesforce, we have all the order details, and even in the ERP system, all the order details are there. So there are certain, now this is a B2B scenario that I'm going through, where the orders, some of the orders placed are made to order. It's not readily available to ship it out. So now it's gone into the ERP system. ERP system now sends it to their planning engine of how it can be manufactured, when it can be manufactured, are there parts to be procured, and all that, and its own status is getting updated. Now, meanwhile, there are certain scenarios where the customer gets back saying, "Hey, it's just another 10 days for my order delivery. I just wanted to make sure whether you guys are really ready with the product or not." And it happened over here that couple of times, a customer ends up calling thrice or four times even before the delivery date has arrived. So now, with the chatbot that we have implemented, plus there are online portals that we have implemented where, with the systems connected, the customer is not necessarily he has to get onto a call and try to figure out what's the status of his order. Because from the ERP system, there's a connectivity given to Salesforce, and Salesforce, the order that's present in Salesforce is constantly updated in terms of what's the status, is it shipped, is it not shipped, oh it's still in manufacturing, or is it stuck because of unavailability of spare parts, whatever the reason is. So both the systems are talking. Along with that, ERP system is also sending an update to the commerce platform. Now in this commerce platform, over here what happens is customer basically has a portal. He can also log in and he can see what's the status. So this again, reduced the number. First is it reduced the number of time a customer contacted the service CSRs. Second is customer like the interaction because he's always aware because he just has to get into the portal, log in, see what's the status of his order. He gets the realistic status. It just doesn't say order in progress, or it doesn't go to okay shipping in progress. No, it even gives him the minute level of order status. So his experience with this organization has improved, and he would prefer continuing, doing the business over here itself. Now, with all this going on over here, so let's say the customer has, just he's a new customer and he's created an account over here with Omega from Hybris portal. The moment his account is created, Hybris doesn't send out an email saying, "Hey, your account is created. These are your credentials." Instead, Hybris sends a request to Salesforce saying that this customer has created a portal request and these are the details. Salesforce further sends that details to Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and That's when the customer receives the email of his portal being created, his credentials for the portal and all that. Once he logs in and he places an order again, so now here you can have two situations. Now, customer would log in, place some product in the cart, and just close the browser, or he would place the product in the cart and place that order. So there can be two situations in this. Now, in a situation where customer got in, placed the product into the cart, and he just closed the browser, so basically we end up considering that to be like customer has abandoned the cart. So now Hybris sends a request to Marketing Cloud saying, hey, this customer just abandoned the cart and he becomes eligible for abandoned cart journey. So there are series of steps how we would want to engage a customer when he abandons his cart. It's like we might say, hey, send out an email, wait for a couple of days, or wait till he has opened the email, or might be wait till he has opened the email and also clicked on some link over there. Then they'll wait. If it doesn't work, okay, now send out another email with some coupon code over it. So you don't have to have that thing done manually. It's completely an automated one. I'll show you that as well. Now, with all the system connected by Boomi, now Microsoft Analytics is able to connect, and in a singular view, it's able to tell the organization, how are they doing. It can be in terms of sales, it can be in terms of service, or it can even be in terms of manufacturing. So there are a couple of analytics and AI reports which Microsoft team has built, where recently the organization figured out that their raw material and as well as their sellable product both have the same part number. So that's the reason they were having some crisis in one of their manufacturing, because the item always goes unavailable. So that's the kind of intelligence and analytical reporting that we can do here. So yeah, like I said, this is just a mapping of the customer entire 360 view and the experience that they've got. Like I said, order is placed in Hybris over here. The contact information is basically in Salesforce. Cases are created in Salesforce when a customer contacts. Emails are sent out of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Product is basically in SAP, and quotes are in SAP and then pushed over to Salesforce. Company information again in Salesforce. Now, this is how a connected system looks like. Okay. So Brambleberry is our another customer where almost the similar use case as Omega we have implemented over there. And basically, like if you see over here, we've got chatbot as well implemented. Plus, if you see the core again over here is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. The difference is, in Omega we were having SAP Hybris for their commerce, and over here we've got SAP Commerce Cloud. We've got SAP Commerce Cloud over here, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, and we've got Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and we've got Salesforce CRM, Sales Cloud as well. Now, here as well, what we have done is all the emails being sent out is streamlined through Marketing Cloud, though it's for the purpose of Commerce Cloud, but it's streamlined through Marketing Cloud. So one point of all the emails being sent out, and all the customer data present in Salesforce. Now let's say that at any point of time we want to run a campaign based on how the orders were placed by a particular customer in Commerce Cloud. The whole campaign analysis and analytics run inside Salesforce, and then based on that analytics and analysis, the campaign members are built and loaded onto a campaign. It's no longer that marketing team just felt like loading XYZ people into the campaign. It's based on the analytics. It gets loaded onto the Salesforce campaigns. Now, benefit of connecting it again and how it's going to help is like, now I've got campaigns in Salesforce, I've got campaign members in Salesforce, I've got a report of all those people. So let's say that over here the customer hadn't connected Salesforce Marketing Cloud to Salesforce. So in that situation, what would end up happening is, you would, first of all, the organization would need a lot of manpower to do that activity manually every time, extract that, and you have to train the person saying, extract that, download it, format it in XYZ format, then log into Marketing Cloud, then upload it, and then, trigger the journey, send the journey. You'll have to train them a lot. But now, since with the connected system, what's happening is Marketing Cloud, we have built a journey where we're saying, hey, in Salesforce, once a week, go fetch the data from this particular report, start running the campaign. It's completely an automated process. Analytics use the intelligence built and decided who should be the campaign members for that particular campaign. All the marketing team had to do was how they're going to, they just said that, hey, we are running a campaign and a couple of question answers. Based on that, analytics ran and said, okay, who are potential good customers for those campaign. Marketing Cloud figured out, okay, campaign is built, campaign is ready. Now campaign is in a status of sending out emails to these people. Marketing Cloud immediately fetched all those campaign members and started sending out those emails out. Now, based on how they responded, whether they have opened it, whether they have not opened it, whether they have clicked on a URL available there, Marketing Cloud had its own analysis already pre-configured. Based on that, it just continued on. Okay, so I'll just show you a couple of instances how things are, how they look like, and then we can listen to a couple more stuff of if these are any pain points you guys currently have. Yeah. So if you see here, this is basically an abandoned cart or a welcome journey. Let's see what is it. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically a code abandonment journey that we have built. So Omega has got a process where customers can end up calling their customer support team and saying that, hey, I'm interested in XYZ amount of those products and all that. Can you send me a quote? Which is very common in a lot of businesses. And the customer service rep basically create a quote and send it out to the customer. Now, the point is, did that quote get converted to an order? That's what every organization is interested in. So now, because Marketing Cloud is connected to Salesforce and the quote is present in Salesforce, ideally it's created in Hybris, but Hybris ends up pushing it to Salesforce. Marketing Cloud immediately starts fetching it. It's like over here. What we're trying to say is wait for 10 days after a quote is created. Wait for 10 days and then go over there and send out an email saying, hey, you know, it's been so long, you've not responded to the quote, you've not placed an order on the on that and all that. So then you again say wait for 15 days, and then based on XYZ analysis, they again say another reminder, and then another 5 days, and they say, okay, looks like the customer is not interested, so let's not disturb him furthermore. Now that's where this helps. Now there's another path which goes down over here. If you see this. Yeah, this is marketing. This is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So yeah, see, if you see here, it's actually trying to, after 10 days, it's trying to understand if customer has approved the quote. If customer has approved the quote, then fine, don't send him any emails. But if the customer hasn't approved the quote, then come over here, send them an email. After that, wait for 15 days, and then come and see here again. Has the customer approved the quote? If the customer hasn't approved, has approved it, he exits out. But he hasn't approved, another email, and wait for 5 days. Now, the similar thing can be built as a cart abandonment. Just give me a second. Let me see if I have one.
now, see that a lot of our customers have those moments,
Correct.
maybe like 5 or 6, right?
Correct.
But that's not necessarily a good thing or efficient. And it's really interesting, like after you live with something like this,
Yeah.
you see the numbers start to change. A lot of people will interpret that as bad.
Yep.
Like, oh, our social traffic has dropped 50%, but then it's up to the people with the data and the analysts why actually good thing.
Exactly.
Because you have the clear visibility, right? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I think that is where the area of the performance, right? So that is
When I struggle with, I'm sorry, I have to get rid of just the day and age rating where you can't really stitch customers together as well. In my opinion, like if you ask me, for 99% of the brands I engage with, that's more important. My data privacy, like I don't want to fall or that you use my data in a way to give me a better experience. I don't think, well, I don't care about the experience. I want my privacy. So I just wonder kind of what you guys all think. And yeah, that's been on my mind, right? Because like we can't track people the same way.
Yeah, I think now, I think with this new they have, I think, they partnered with other companies, kind of enriches the data. So even if you have like, if you go by customer credit cards, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways.
So
Yep.
you can easily map
that out.
Registration, all the guys. There are ways, I mean, which you can do it without getting the cookie. Right. So.
Oh, it's not necessary for all this. We need cookies enabled.
No.
But I think the privacy thing is also very important, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of customers now want to have that.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of our customers. Right. So it's like you have to be one level smarter to know the actual person making it. Yeah, all the interesting challenges.
I think thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Nice meeting with you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right. Take care.
So yeah.
I think good job. Great presentation.
That was really good.
I think we also learned a lot of new things. And definitely, I think, what about you guys? I think this, the social one was the new one that
Oh yeah, I wanted to cover that.
What was the social?
So this is basically social studio, where it's not, you're not tracking, you're listening. Okay, so you're basically listening. So what happens over here? A lot of organizations have this problem where they have shared their organization's social media account credentials with their employees. Employee quit and went. Now they're for a short time frame they're abusing that credentials that they have got. A lot of companies have that problem. That's one of the problems. Second problem is sometimes they don't have a system where they can say until unless it's approved, you should not post it. So without an approval, it just gets posted out. The third part is now, like a lot of times it happens that there's a social media presence for almost every organization, and somebody who's angry with them, just like for example, it happens with me. I'm always angry in India with food service like Zomato or anything because I cannot call somebody and say I have a problem, and it's a chat service, and it's horrible. So yeah. So I literally go onto the social media post of this and start talking over there. That's when they listen to me and they give me a call back. Yeah. Yeah. So now this what it does is you don't have to share your company's social credentials with anybody. So it's already, if you see here, it's already configured. So that's it. Now, if I give somebody access to this particular workspace, now he's got access to all these social accounts. Now, he cannot directly post it. There's something called as he can schedule his post. He has to get it approved. If it is, we can put a restriction saying if it is not approved, it cannot get posted.
Kind of a workflow.
So yeah, it's kind of a
For a
workflow
social post.
for a social post. It's got all these workflow capabilities for a social post.
So if you have like 300, 400 employees within a company, anything they are posting through just emails and work profile that automatically gets to.
Yep.
So we don't have it.
Now here you'll be actually like I just clicked on Instagram, so I'm just seeing the Instagram activities that were done. So basically, this is a demo. It's not actually a company. So yeah, it was a demo that we built to show them. They were basically into electrical vehicles. So now over here, if you see all the social engagements are listed. This is a holistic view of somebody can understand what all social activities they have done. Now, if I end up going here, I don't know if it still functions. Yeah. So it says I posted a YouTube video, and then it also is capable of actually seeing here. They've got 35 views, no dislikes, just one like. Now, I don't think this has.
Just to see interactions, what is the
So let's see if this one has. So we have it. That was on YouTube. I think here I should have something good.
these are what events or what is this, the calendar?
Yeah, it's just saying when what was posted. It can be a campaign which you're posting on any social media. It just shows in a calendar view right now. And oh, like over here, then this one. Yeah.
Like which, like for example, we can see if we are doing 10 events, which event is full,
Yeah.
successful in the social world.
Social world, yeah. Now this also it could be with anything. Correct. So now here it says how the engagement was, how was the reach. Like even if reach, not necessarily somebody has liked it. Even if somebody opened it, it will get counted in the reach. How was the reach? Then the engagement breakdown. Now it will start saying how many likes, how many comments, how many people saved that link, and what's the impression and all that. Based on that, like that's happy face, sad face, angry face. Based on that. Now there's one more thing over here which I'm not able to see in this.
Basically single account who has or whatever that company has different handle, Instagram, Twitter, and everything together. Like how Facebook and Instagram are linked together. In one place, you can see
Yep.
all the social activities.
Because we have connected all this. This is the Twitter account of the company. This is a YouTube account of the company. This is a Facebook account of the company. This is Instagram account of the company. So whatever activity happens anywhere, we can monitor
We
it.
just need one account, right?
Yep. Yep. Get the data out of it. It also gives sentiment analysis. So based on, like, let's say somebody commented, it understands the comment and it gives you a sentiment. What was the sentiment and all that. So using that, we actually what we do is here we don't have much intelligence. This is all of data gathering here. We take all that sentiment analysis data or the engagement data and all this data we fetch it from here, and we take this data to Salesforce. Once we take it over there, we've got Einstein. We feed that to Einstein, and then we make sense out of all those data coming. Now there was this one.
Social Studio dependent platform.
Yeah, it was ideally somebody else's. That's why it's actually the URL says Radian 6. So the Radian company owned it. It's theirs, and Salesforce took over it. Now,
It's acquired by Salesforce.
Yeah.
Salesforce product.
The only problem is now Salesforce is planning to shut it down because its licensing is heavy. I think there are very few customers who have actually implemented it. I've just done one implementation of this. So it's very heavy on licensing. So there are a lot of companies right now in a race of building another social studio. And
Or they own, like, I mean,
Behind it
You
is,
have to link it to the
but behind it is all open source APIs. But you have to reinvent the wheel. Your experience of failure is no longer there, right? So here it's already built for you. Every company might not be able to have that huge team to.
That's true, but I mean, how heavy is it in the back?
Not that.
Not heavy.
No.
So if you were to, you could.
We can build it. I'm saying, like, literally there are a lot of companies who are trying to come up with alternative because Salesforce has given this thing that they might shut it down. And so everybody is trying to do it because at least there were a lot of customers, as per Salesforce data, there were a lot of customers who really showed interest in buying this product because it helps them. The demo also, they loved it, everything. The only reason most of them, 90% of them stepped back was by listening to the licensing cost.
I think very good, right? As far as sorry, sorry, I was just I think I have to
Sure.
pick up my daughter, but I think nice meeting with you, Visham.
Same here.
I think we'll discuss that.
Sure.